In this slideshow, we're going to talk about country evaluation and selection. Companies don't have the resources to take advantage of all opportunities. They need to determine the order of country entry and allocate resources among countries. They have to deal with two key questions: where to sell and where to produce. In choosing new locations for doing business, companies follow a two-step process. The first step is to scan for alternatives. Look at all the countries in the world and select. What are the criteria for selection? One is market size, the country's GDP, its population, its GDP per capita. Second, the ease of operations in that country. It's easy to operate in a country that has a nearby location, same language, similar market conditions, a developed infrastructure, and an absence of trade restrictions. And third, they look at the costs and resource availability in that country, in particular the labor costs and the logistics of doing business there. At the same time, the company analyzes the risks of doing business in the different countries it's selecting. They look at political risk. They look at competitive risk. What kind of competition is operating in that country already? And they look at monetary risk, which involves the country's exchange rate and its policies on allowing transfers of money into and out of the country. In the second step of the process, the company collects and analyzes data on the countries selected. There are several issues with data. Reasons for inaccuracies include inability to collect the data or getting misleading data. There are comparability problems, differences in definitions in base years, distortions in currency conversions. And companies look at external sources of information, market studies by consultants, government reports, for example from the U.S. Department of Commerce or the CIA, which makes information available to companies, international organizations such as the IMF or the World Bank, and trade associations. And then the company examines the internal data that it has collected on the countries. After completing the two-step process, you then do an opportunity risk analysis. You quantify and rank the opportunity of a project in terms of its potential profit. You quantify and rank the risk of a project in terms of potential loss. You compare projects in terms of opportunity and risk, and you select projects with the highest ratios of opportunity to risk. In deciding where to operate around the world, you have to choose between a strategy of diversification or a strategy of concentration. Generally, companies diversify in order to spread their risks around the world and not have too much invested in any one place. But there are reasons for pursuing a concentration strategy. You look at the growth rate in each market. Fast growth favors concentration because of the need for resources. You look at sales stability in each market. The more stable sales are, the less advantage you have in diversifying. And you look at competitive lead time. The longer the lead time for entering a country, the more you should favor a concentration strategy. You look at the need for product adaptation. The more you need to adapt your product to local preferences, which raises costs, the more you should favor a concentration strategy. You look at program control requirements. The more you need to control your operation, the more you should favor a concentration strategy. And you look at resource constraints. The more you are constrained by resources, the more you should favor a concentration strategy. Now take the quiz on this slideshow by clicking on the Quiz on Slideshow icon, which is right below the icon you clicked on to view this slideshow.